Hi everyone, I just wanted to say a few words in light of the latest bombing of Libya and the ongoing disaster in Japan. These crazy disasters and wars and genocides and killings and madness seems to be accelerating now. There is something incredible happening to the human species in terms of our inability to cope with so many new things happening every day. I mean, when they started bombing Libya at the weekend, I don't even know how to describe how I felt. It wasn't an anger, a rage, or like, oh my God, how dare they? It was almost like a surrender and acceptance that these are these crazy, asleep human beings doing ridiculous things to one another. And who am I to judge them? Because no one forced those British or American or French fighter pilots to enter the cockpit at gunpoint. These people are willingly, off their own backs, choosing to kill each other in vast numbers. In this country, in America and wherever, people in vast numbers are willingly, every day, because they're sentient human beings, they're making the choice to pay tax. They're making the choice to turn up at their jobs. They're making the choice to pay the mortgage. They choose to enslave themselves. And a metaphor I often use is that of a domesticated bird, a pet bird, be it a parrot or a budgie or whatever. You can feed it and keep it in cage so it has no freedom and doesn't know what it's like to be a real bird for years. As long as you feed it, and then one day you take the cage to the window and you open the cage and the bird doesn't fly away. It's the same with human beings. But I'm 30 years old now, and I've dedicated the last two lives, there's a transcendental reincarnation Freudian slip. I've dedicated the last 2 lives. No, I've dedicated the last 2 years to trying to inspire you and make a difference through the only violence which truly matters nowadays, and that is spiritual and mental violence against that which we consider evil or wrong or a mistake. And I have no desire to do battle with anyone in the physical world. I don't want to be a child and start whacking big sticks around and letting police chase me, or letting ignorant people do terrible things to other ignorant people. As we've known for a long time, this fight we have right now is one of ideas of metaphysics, of consciousness, of sentience, of the spirit of God, or whatever, whichever way you want to see it. And I mean, I can pick up a newspaper and see figures from a tsunami 5 years ago. 300,000 people dead overnight because the tsunami took out Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and so forth. And I'm appalled at my own lack of emotional reaction, because I never met these people. They're just numbers in a newspaper. And the same goes for things a lot more close to home, because until we get emotionally and physically and psychologically involved with people or areas or tribes or whatever, they will only be an idea to us. They won't be something personal, which is why it's such a obvious thing, it's hardly worth mentioning at risk of sounding like an idiot, but this is why we would probably suffer a lot more, cry a lot more if someone in our family was in a car crash and died, than reading about a car crash somewhere else in the world with people you don't know. On a more esoteric level, I do strongly believe that ultimately we are all that perfect manifestation of the divine, and the divine is a label we maybe we give to something which is as simple as consciousness, but we give it labels like the spirit or God or the divine because it is stunning and beautiful. And if I've learned one thing in my 30 years here on Earth, and my 2 years, not lifetimes, my 2 years of love police activism, it's that you can only lead by example, and you can only show people an alternative way. You can only do the best you can as a human being and hope that it rubs off on other people, in terms of planting seeds, in terms of trying to remind people how incredible and amazing they are. And I don't know the ins and outs of quantum physics or quantum mechanics or neuroplasticity or the holographic universe theory or the multiple universe theories. I don't know these things in and out, but it's great when I watch documentaries about crazy scientific theories now, and I'm talking about the more exotic stuff and the quantum quark level. It does reflect my own feelings about how things are and how things are built, and I hope it's the same for you as well. I think we all have access to all that knowledge in our hearts. We can think infinitely about anything because we are infinite thought. We are only thought. And I don't know whether this world is real. I don't know whether anything that happens here is anything other than a well put together simulation and a well put together stage. But we don't know, do we? So we do the best we can as human beings. And if I can maybe do one judgment or one condemnation of many people in this world, it's a lack of courage. And that's ultimately all it is, because for someone we may consider evil in any organization, they have to be surrounded by hundreds and thousands of other people to uphold their position as the dictator or whatever they are, as the murderer, as the foreign minister, as the prime minister, as the president. There's an entire structure of people around them. And that goes for Barack Obama or David Cameron. These are individuals who have never killed anyone in their lives. They've maybe never hit anyone, never been in a fight. They may have never raised their voice in absolute rage against anyone. So on paper, they look like peaceful people. And should we judge the Barack Obamas or the David Camerons of this world when they have never hurt anyone? And all they work on is a structure and an idea, and they come across other human beings asleep enough to go along with it. You know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say with this video. I just felt it was probably right to come online and say hello to everyone. Because I tried to do a video about what happened in Japan. I was going to do a video today about what's happening in Libya. But it's just reactionary bollocks, because in the time it's taken you to listen to my words since you pressed play on this video, probably another 2,000 African children have died of starvation. And tonight, 1 billion people will go to bed hungry in this world, whilst what do? We make YouTube videos, we consume, we smoke weed, we hang out with friends, we play on our iPhones. So, yeah, I think I need to end by saying that you can't be everywhere all at once. But if every single person on this planet knew how to deal with bad people when they came into their surrounding, or knew how to deal with evil, if you knew how to whistle blow if you're in a corporation and evil is being done, if you knew how to deal with the police when they're maybe hurting you, if you knew how to deal with civilization when it's destroying humanity and the planet. And on a personal note to Ray Kurtzweil, the transhumanist, you might be right, you might be wrong, but when I look into your eyes when you're giving your TV shows, when you're being interviewed by CNN, you don't seem like a nice guy. You don't seem like anyone who should be leading society. And your ideas about putting, advanced processors in our brains and microchipping ourselves, that puts off a lot of people, including me. So yeah, I was going to try and do a video about Japan or Libya, but what am I going to do? I'm just a guy in a room with a talking head talking to a fucking camera. And yeah, like it's it's hard. This is a one-way conversation. There's not anyone speaking back to me, so this need to just carry on talking is very strange. But if everyone knew what to do when challenge comes, then the world would be a better place. But people aren't awake. They're not actually in conscious control of their lives. I'm going to put a few links of good stuff to watch in the info tab. So